Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Welcome to our first annual Italian American Heritage Flag Raising at Hobokan High School. Today we celebrate a group of Americans that have not only contributed to the fabric of this great country, but have shaped the tapestry of Hoboken. We have such a vibrant and active Italian American community in Hoboken, but especially here at Hobokan High School. Perhaps it is fitting that we are raising the Italian flag on homecoming with its energy, pride, and enthusiasm, because that's what these Italian American students bring to our high school. So at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce an Italian American educator to lead us in our Star Spangled Banner, along with Rosie Cabelin, Mr. Stasiak, and our Rockin' Red Wings.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming. And rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Rosie. Okay, at this time, to start us off, I would like to bring up our Hoboken High School Student Government Secretary, Antonia Fucci, and she will talk about Italian American immigration to this great country of ours.
Hello everyone, I am Antonia Fucci, Secretary for the Student Government here at Hoboken High School. I'm honored to be here standing in front of all of you today as a member of the Italian American community here in Hoboken. I am proud to be one of the 15.7 billion people living in the United States today who identify themselves as Italian Americans. Italians have a long history of migrating to foreign countries as a way of coping with poverty and dislocation. Between 1880 and 1924, Italian immigrants began fleeing to America on a 3-month sailing journey over 3,000 miles to escape drowning rural poverty in southern Italy and Sicily. When coming to America, many Italian immigrants came directly to Ellis Island, Crampton Chips. With fear of separation, some immigrants traveled in large groups, renaming Ellis Island the Island of Tears. Here in Hoboken, Italian traditions and cultures have been very much present throughout the years, including the St. Anne's Feast, numerous Catholic churches, the famous history behind Frank Sinatra, and the Monte San Giacomo Club. I am honored to be part of this community as an Italian American and getting to speak here before all of you today. Thank you.
Okay, so at this time, as everybody knows, not only is it Italian American Heritage Month, but it's also Hispanic Heritage Month. And the Hispanic Heritage flag has been flying above our high school. At this time, we're going to have a handing off ceremony where Gabi Velez and Tony Fucci will be giving, well, I should say, 2 members of the Hispanic Culture Club, Amanda Sanchez and Maria Mastrogiovanni, will take down the Latino Heritage flag, and Gabi Velez and Tony Fucci will raise the Italian American Heritage flag, or the Italian National flag, excuse me. All right, so we will do that now.
up, Gab.
And not because of that, not because of the
Good job, everyone. At this time, I would like to publicly thank Miss Rosanne Versaci, who's a teacher at Wallace and the president of the Hoboken Education Association, for donating the flag to the Hoboken High School student government. So thank you, Miss Versaci. At this time, I'm going to bring up Vice President Gabriela Velez, who will talk about Italian Americans in Hoboken.
Good morning, everyone. Buongiorno a tutti. For those who may not know me, I'm Gabriela Velez, the Vice President of Student Government. It is such an honor and privilege to be here today in front of such an amazing crowd of people, speaking about something that plays a huge part in my life. That is being Italian American. The first major wave of Italian immigrants came to Hoboken between the years of 1880 and 1900. This grew Hoboken's Italian population from 280 people to 2,360 people. Within the next 10 years, Italians became the second largest ethnic group in Hoboken. As Secretary Fucci previously mentioned, there are many traditions that were brought to America in the early 1900s that play such a big part in our Hoboken community today that really show our Italian roots. For instance, our very own Italian American club, the Monte San Giacomo Club. That was founded in 1935 by 7 families that immigrated to Hoboken. This club was created so that these immigrants had a place to socialize and celebrate their culture by eating traditional foods and listening to Italian music. This can be located on 531 Adams Street. The Monte San Giacomo Club was named after our hometown, Monte San Giacomo. It is located near Provinci Salerno on a small mountain towards the southwestern area of Italy. Our small hometown is approximately 20 square miles with a population of 1,554 people as of 2017, making our community very tiny yet large and warm-hearted like Hoboken. Some of the events that Monte San Giacomo's people really take part in yearly is the St. Anne's Feast to keep their religious and traditional values alive and celebrate our origins. Although the St. Anne's Parish has now taken over the St. Anne's Festival, the Monte San Giacomo Club members still get involved with the festival's procession. This shows that even with fear of separation, Italian immigrants stuck together, creating a family and traditions that would last decades through thick and thin. I would just like to thank my family members here in the crowd today, as the current club's president, Giuseppe Bazzanella, Matteo Percantino, who was a former Italian teacher here at Hoboken High School. He was also head of our old Italian club and a former Hoboken High School boys soccer coach. I would also love to shout out my cousin Angelo Aceta, who is a current member of the club and part of the administration. Also, my Aunt Rosa, who was a former president of the Ladies Auxiliary, my Nonna Antonia Percantino, and as well as my mom, Rosa Maria Velez, and my dad, Ramon Velez, who is also a current member of the Monte San Giacomo Club today. Just want to say a big thank you to everyone who made it today, and I appreciate all of you for coming.
Good job. At this time, I would like to bring up Miss Rosanne Versaci, who's the president of the Hoboken Education Association, and she will give observations from an Italian American educator. So, Miss Versaci.
First, and I just want to say,
Rosanne. Sorry.
Sorry. I just want to say, I met with Gabby and Tony last week, and we were talking about a few things. I was giving them, just a couple of thoughts of my own, but your speeches were so heartwarming and touching, and a lot of what I'm going to say are things that you already said. So I think it just kind of shows that in totality, even with the young generation and being an older generation, how important our heritage is. So I just want to thank Ms. Piccapietra and Mr. Munoz and the Student Council for sponsoring this special flag-raising event today. Some time ago, when Mr. Munoz mentioned that he was going to organize the raising of the Italian flag to commemorate Italian American Heritage Month, I was very touched and gratified. Not only because I'm very proud of my Italian heritage, but because it demonstrates the embracing of all cultures and ethnicities by the Hoboken High School community. So once again, I thank you, Chris, for this special opportunity today. When my grandparents arrived in the United States, Lady Liberty didn't exactly welcome them with open arms. My paternal grandparents arrived here about 20 years or so before my maternal grandparents did. They came through Ellis Island and settled in the Italian enclave in New York City of East Harlem. They experienced many hardships, both personal and economic, in their early years in the United States. I wouldn't say they lived the American dream by any stretch, but they were able to carve out a life for their 3 children that was far better than the life they would have had if they hadn't made that difficult journey to America. My maternal grandparents settled in Hoboken, and their story wasn't much different. Hoboken wasn't a very inclusive place for Italian immigrants at that time, and it is well documented that they were not welcomed when it came to jobs and places to live. They were even denied basic city services. They settled in the area we always knew as downtown, 5th and Madison, then 5th and Jefferson, and then back to 5th and Madison. Like my father's parents, they were fortunate enough to have so many close relatives and paisani living in their neighborhood. So what they may have lacked in wealth, they had an abundance of in family, faith, and love of their Italian heritage. A love they instilled in their children, my parents, and a love my parents instilled in my sister and brother. Knowing who you are and where you come from is so important. I am so grateful for a day like today, because it demonstrates that diversity really includes everyone. Each of us has a story to tell, and it may not always be pretty or have a happy ending, but it's important to know. None of us are here today because of one small event or action. Everyone who came before us paved the way for our success and our realization of our dreams. If my grandparents hadn't made the sacrifices they did to make a better life for themselves and their children, I wouldn't be standing here before you today. And so I challenge everyone here today, and especially our young people. We have a legacy to preserve of the many Italian and Italian-American heroes that came before us. Don't allow yourselves to be defined by the ethnic stereotypes and the Hollywood portrayals that paint us in such a negative light. That is not who we are. We are business people and bankers. There would be no Bank of America without APG&E. We are mayors and governors, senators and congressmen and congresswomen. The first woman to be a nominee for a major political party was Geraldine Ferraro, and the only female and the current Speaker of the House of Representatives is Nancy Pelosi. We are doctors and lawyers and inventors. There would be no telephone without Antonia. We are Supreme Court justices. We are philosophers like Filippo Mazzei, who inspired our founding fathers, and physicists like Enrico Fermi. We are sculptors. Without the lead carver Luigi Del Bianco, there would be no Mount Rushmore. We are saints like Mother Cabrini, who established schools and hospitals to serve immigrants, and the poor and underprivileged, and who became the first U.S. citizen to be canonized by the Catholic Church. In Hoboken, we have the greatest entertainer of all time, Frank Sinatra. And lastly, we have our beloved country's name. There would be no America if not for the explorer Amerigo Vespucci. Know your history, be proud of your heritage, and celebrate it. There are close to 16 million people in the U.S. who claim Italian ancestry. Millions of Italians toiled and labored, literally with their blood, sweat, and tears, to make this country the great nation that it is. This country is our inheritance from them, and it is our duty and obligation to preserve and honor their traditions and values for this generation and for those to come. Thank you again for this great honor today.
Thank you, Ms. Versaci. At this time, I would like to bring up our principal, Ms. Piccapietra, for some remarks.
Does not really feel like fall out here right about now, but we'll take it for when it's 33 degrees in the next couple of weeks probably. So I really have to thank Mr. Munoz and the student government for all the work they put into not just this event, but every event. And I think it's so important that we are celebrating all types of backgrounds. And I don't know where he gets his energy from, but he is always on point. So thank you, Mr. Munoz. You are amazing. What makes me so proud to be the principal of this high school? Obviously, with the last name of Piccapietra, I am of Italian heritage. I'm not 100%. I am also half German, but the name Piccapietra definitely screams Italian. I'm very proud of my heritage. I'm proud of my family roots. But I think what I appreciate most of all is experiencing through this school all the various backgrounds. I don't feel just Italian. I feel Hispanic. I feel African American. I feel Irish. I feel everything for every celebration we go through. And I want to thank Ms. Versaci for such a well thought out speech and so many great facts in there about Italian Americans. It makes you think and it makes you reflect. And I think after every one of these events, the nicest part is sitting back and remembering what everyone had to say. I think it's great to be at this school with all the backgrounds and ethnicities and cultures we celebrate. So while I am a very proud Italian, German, American, I consider myself to be a part of everyone's culture through my school and through all the work Mr. Munoz does with our student body. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you, Ms. Pick, for your kind words. Ms. Pick is great. She really allows us as a student body, as a faculty and a student body to do all these great things. So we really do thank Ms. Pick for all that she does for the school. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people that were here, former educators of Italian American descent that actually really had an impact on my career here at Hoboken High School. First one is Mr. Percantino, who's here. Former Italian teacher, amazing. I'll never forget when I first started teaching, Mr. Perk outside in Columbus Park playing bocce ball with the kids. All right, and it's because of Mr. Percantino that I actually took up bocce ball in Bayonne, where I live. So, thank you very much. And of course, Mr. Gary Enrico.
Yeah.
All right. It's funny. Gary told me I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. He came back for this one. Thank you so much.
Rosanne asked me back.
I appreciate it. Gary was the former band director here for many years at Hoboken High School, and he had a tremendous impact on all of us. So thank you for coming today. And thank you so much. So now to conclude our ceremony, first off, I would like to give a special shout out to and thanks to Mr. McCauley for recording, and Mr. Stasiak for the sound, and the band, and Rosie for singing the national anthem. But two people, and Amanda and Maria from the Hispanic Culture Club for taking down your colors. Thank you so much. And of course, the Vice President Velez and Secretary Fucci. These two have so much energy and enthusiasm, and this is all their baby, all right? And I am so proud of them. They're doing such a great job, along with Sheila, our president, Andrew, our board representative, and Nyla, our treasurer. They are doing an amazing job, so thank you so much. You guys are just great. Okay, and to take us out, Mr. Stasiak and the Rockin' Red Wings with our Hoboken High School alma mater. Jack and the Rockin' Bedouins. Thank you, Ms. Versaci, Ms. Pick, everyone that made this possible, and we will see you here next year for our second annual Italian Heritage flag raising. All right, thank you. If I can have the